Hi everyone, it's Chef Rose. It's part 3 of our French Madeleine and Sarah Bernhardt Day. As you can see, I've got the pan ready, and even though it's non-stick, you have to go through and really heavily butter it and flour it. So I'm going to show you, but I want to get a pan in the oven because they take about 12 to 15 minutes to bake, so you can see how they come out and what they should look like when they're finished. And here's the batter. You can see it's nice and solid now from sitting in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. So I'm going to put it into a piping bag. You don't need a tip though. It's going to be much easier to get into the cavities of the pan with a bag. A little bit more. All right. Oh, it smells so good. I can smell the orange. All right, put that to the side. Cut off a little bit. All right, cut off a little bit more. There we go. All right, so you're going to pipe them. Let me make sure you get a good view. Just straight in the middle, like that. It's a good amount. You want to fill it about, I'd say it's only about a half full, but maybe you even think 2/3 full, because it is going to expand as it bakes. And of course, pick up the beautiful pattern of the pan. You know, if you ever go to Paris or other parts of Europe, you'll see Madeleines at a bake shop. You go sit and have some coffee or an espresso and a couple Madeleines to go with it. It's great with coffee or tea. Get that off of there. And there you go, into a 375 oven for 12 to 15 minutes. So I'll be right back. All right, so let me show you how you would prep the pan. So I've got some softened butter, and you literally just spread the butter very evenly, get it into those grooves. You know, the first time I used them, I bought these pans and we used them in class. It had been a long time since I'd made the Madeleines, so I thought, oh, the nonstick, yeah. You know, the recipes will say, you know, generously butter and flour, but I thought, well, they're non-sticks. We could just use pan spray. No, they didn't want to come out of the pan. So before I forget, let me set the timer here. Okay. So it's really important to take the time to do this, to make sure that all this effort that you put into it pays off and they come out really beautiful. Now, they actually do make these Madeleine pans in a even petite size, very small one, which is great for petit fours, but this size is really still only a 2 or 3 bites, so you can certainly use this size as a petit four, but they are very cute, the very small ones. What's nice about the Madeleine recipe is that you can change out, you could do lemon instead of orange. You don't have to brown the butter. You would just melt the butter. So you could do lemon. Maybe even do, I'm trying to think what you could do with the lemon, like an herb or something. Tiny bit of dried lavender maybe. Ooh, yeah, beautiful. All right. So once you've got them nice and buttered, sure you got every groove, every part. So then I put the flour, put some flour right on top. Be pretty generous with the flour as well. And then I'll take it and turn it over, knock it out so that you've got a nice coating. All right? Get rid of the flour. So let me go ahead and pipe out the remaining Madeleines while the other ones are baking. So these are really good, freshly made. They will dry out pretty easily, so if you want to try and save them for the next day, just make sure they're well covered. Put them in a Ziploc bag. They can be frozen as well if you want to save them. They're nice for a tea party, bridal shower, baby shower. I have a baby shower coming up for my nephew's wife. Hopefully we'll still do it in June or July. I think she's due in August. My sister wanted me to make cupcakes, but we'll see. It's up to what the mother-to-be wants. I'll do whatever she wants. A lot of times, the first time, I remember Lampros eating these the first time, and he was like, whoa, what are those? And so they're very good when they're fresh from the oven. So a lot of people may not have these. They're hard to find. I've seen them in packages. Maybe like, I think Target sells a small package, but not a common place here in the US for sure. All right, there you go. And then into the oven. So I'll probably wait for the other ones to come out before I put these in. Okay. So let's finish up the Sarah Bernhardts. Let's get everything into place here. So the ganache is set up really nicely. Let's see how I want to do this. I don't think I need this. Nah, we'll do without that. You can still see. And here's my chocolate glaze. It's fluid, but it's not hot. So what's nice about the ganache is once it firms up, it should be set and solid. It's easy to dip into the glaze, but I am going to put some gloves on. So I don't want to dip the whole cookie. I just want to dip the ganache part. And so when you dip the ganache, which is cold, into the glaze, it should sit up pretty quickly. So let's see if I can do this. So you dip it in just to the ganache. There we go. So I'm going to need a paper towel. Fingers, of course, are going to get full of chocolate. Oh, that's horrible. Yeah. Yeah. So just the top. So in the cookbook that I had found this recipe, they put little pieces of gold leaf on it, which made it so beautiful. I do have gold leaf at school, of course, not here. Again, had I known all this was going to happen at some point, I would have gone and grabbed a bunch of things from school to do these videos. But, you know, of course, when this all first happened, I thought, you know, we'd be back perhaps in May at some point. So never thought I would do all these videos, but I hope you appreciate, even though it's not quite the same, but you get to see some technique, and hopefully you try some things. Now, if it has a really big point like that, you can kind of smash it so it's not super thin. Kiss. It's like a chocolate kiss on a almond or hazelnut meringue. Yum. There you go. Beautiful. See, very nice, very simple, but very rich and yummy little petit four. The key is not to show fingerprints in chocolate, right? So this can be very tricky to do and hold, not get chocolate all over the place. That's why I'm trying to clean my fingers after each one so I don't leave fingerprints. All right. Dip, dip, dip. Kind of squish that top off a little bit. There you go. So definitely a little bit of labor. Certainly if you did hundreds of these, it would take a little while. But how adorable. And remember, you could do the decoy with hazelnuts or almonds. And I believe you can even use pistachios if you wanted. So, and that would be good too. But pistachio, I found a lot of students, pistachios are very strong, assertive flavor. So try to use pistachios in our chocolate class before. And a lot of students didn't like the flavor. Again, it's a very, very unique, very strong flavor. So you got to be careful. When you're doing petit fours for a client, make sure you kind of go over all the flavors with them. Maybe they have a family that loves pistachios. So this would be something you could do for them. Oops. Oh, poor guy. So always make sure with the client that you go over all the flavors. Remember, this is a good flourless dessert. There's no flour in the decoy. There's no flour in the glaze or ganache. So a really good choice for gluten-free. There we go. So, if you didn't glaze the ganache, you would kind of get a skin on it. So that's kind of why you cover it. Just gives it a really nice, finished, polished look. There you go. If you really wanted to, if you piped out the ganache and served it right away, possibly, but the ganache will get a skin on it. It's just not as attractive without the glaze. There we go. Beautiful. Very simple. Other than gold leaf, I don't know. Garnish wise, it really doesn't need very much. I know we got raspberry in the ganache, but I certainly wouldn't want to put a raspberry. It's too big. There we go. There we go. There's all my Sarah Bernhardt's done, ready to go in the fridge. And you'd want to serve these within a couple days. Do keep in mind that in the refrigerator, the decoy will get a little softer the longer it stays in there. But, the decoy, before you assemble them, can be frozen for a while. So certainly you can do that. And then assemble them like this when you need them and when you're ready to serve within a day or two. Okay? All right. Let me go check on the Madeleines. You want to have a cooling rack ready. They have to be unmolded right away. You don't want to keep them in the pan too long. Let's take a look. Oh, looking good. Actually, they're just about there. Let me check them. Take them out and check. Actually, I'll bring the camera over so you can see. All right. Beautiful. All right. They look nice. They're firm. They're set. Beautiful. Nice and brown around the edge. So I'm going to take this pan out. Put the other one in. Middle of the oven. Let's set it for 10 minutes. All right. Let's get these turned on to the cooling rack. Yay! Beautiful. Oh, that's what you want. You want that beautiful design, nice and brown. You can dust them with powdered sugar. You can dip them in chocolate if you'd like. Even if you wanted to, you could dip them in a little of the glaze, since I have it right here. Oh, they're hot. Careful. But super yummy. Let's dip one in a little glaze. A little bit of an angle like that. Looks really nice. You could dip it in just melted chocolate, but just wanted to show you a little chocolate on there. Beautiful. So there we go. Our Madeleines. They should have that little bump. You see that little bump? That's kind of a characteristic or feature. That little bump. Just a very slight bump. That's what they should look like. So I can't describe to you how wonderful these smell, but I'm going to have to take a taste to make sure they're okay. So wish I could be with all of you, and hopefully we'll see you soon. All right. Have a good day. Stay safe.